What would you do if you had a humanoid robot lover and they went absolutely rogue? Things would go from pleasure to pain real quick, and that's exactly what happens in this year's sci-fi horror movie, Companion. A weekend getaway with friends at a remote cabin turns into chaos after it's revealed that one of the guests is not what they seem. So my wife and I went into this one blind, which is how I typically like to go into movies, but this review will at most only spoil as much as the trailer does. The trailer does give away so much and makes it very clear that our main character Iris is a robot, but it was fun figuring that out along the way. They make it pretty obvious within like 15 minutes, so I don't think they meant to veil it at all, really. The first half of this review will be spoiler-free so that I can kind of just give my overall feelings and thoughts, and then you can go experience the movie on your own, and then the second half will contain spoilers. I'll let you know when we get to that part, but if you haven't seen the movie, as soon as you're ready to go watch it, there will be a link in the description to go rent or buy it. So the movie stars Sophie Thatcher, who we saw just last year in the amazing film Heretic alongside Hugh Grant and Chloe East. She plays Iris, the companion robot, and our male lead is Josh, played by Jack Quaid, son of Dennis Quaid, who starred in last year's Substance. Looks like horror just runs in their family. Lucas Gage, who is the dude that smashed his face in with a weight in Smile 2 last year, he's in it. He's also in the first season of White Lotus, but that's a little bit more of a deeper cut. He plays one half of another couple who joins the group at this getaway. So his counterpart is Eli, who is played by Harvey Guillen. I'm not familiar with Harvey's work, but I read that he was in Werewolves Within. I don't quite remember him being in it, but that's something you might recognize him from. So the third and last couple is Kat and Sergey. Sergey is the owner of this beautiful, secluded lake house where their getaway takes place, and he and Kat are dating. He seems like way older than her for whatever that's worth. So it starts as a fun little getaway between friends, but then things just kind of seem off. At first to us, and then Iris starts feeling that things are a bit weird, and she just goes rogue. She ends up killing one of the guests, and I'm not going to say who here because on the surface that's like a huge spoiler, even though, again, the trailer gives it away. And then the rest of the group has to deal with the aftermath of that situation. It's a thrilling roller coaster ride as we kind of figure out how and why she did this. We can assume that if a company is making sex robots that they can't just go around killing people, so like what's going on here? The movie takes a handful of twists and turns, maybe a few too many if you ask me. The cinematography gets like an 8 out of 10 for me. One of my favorite techniques that they use throughout it are these like great close-up shots, as it feels like the filmmakers are trying to get us to see like every little micro expression and figure out what Iris is feeling or thinking. There are a few moments of exposition that kind of feel like they drag out, but at least we get all the information we need. They do kind of hold your hand in that sense when they're explaining things, but at the same time, I think there'd be a lot of people pointing out plot hole after plot hole if they didn't give us that information. So if you like having all of the questions answered by the end of the movie, you'll be satisfied with this one. Now with that, I will say there are still a lot of plot holes, so you just kind of have to ignore some of them to fully enjoy the movie. This movie was a very fun watch. It was the perfect type of movie to watch with some friends or your significant other. It's not overly disturbing or gory. There are a few spots where there's blood and gore, but it doesn't go overboard at all. The kills aren't too imaginative or creative, so don't expect any of that. Sophie Thatcher does an amazing job at playing a robot who is having her reality crumble slowly before her very eyes, and Jack Quaid delivers a chilling performance as Josh, who's like nice guy persona slowly crumbles as well, and we see his deeply sad and manipulative core. The movie kind of reminded me of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies at times, and it's basically like the movie Her plus Megan. Overall, I think the movie is fun and entertaining. It's along the lines of intro horror or horror light. Like, it's not really scary, but there's enough psychological warfare happening and enough blood and violence to warrant that horror tag. So if you like sci-fi horror, you're definitely going to love this one. There's heavy-handed commentary about how unrestricted AI and technology access can basically be the downfall of humanity and the terrifying controlling nature of humans, and also the importance of reading user agreements. So at this point, if you have not seen the movie, I'm about to get into spoilers, so if you want to rent or buy it, use that link in the description, watch it, and come back for the spoiler section. For the rest of you who have seen it, what a fun, wild ride. So heading into the movie, if you've seen the trailer, we know that this relationship robot goes rogue, but we don't know why. And it turns out that Kat and Josh devised a plan to steal the host's money. Sergey's just like really rich dude. the host Sergey, which, side note, I thought it was hilarious that Sergey didn't end up really being in the mafia, and that was just Josh's assumption. But he's actually a sod farmer, I guess, according to Kat, which makes an earlier line all the more funny because I forget if it's Sergey himself or someone else says that his work is dirty or he's in dirty work or something along those lines. So that was one of the funniest moments to me. So when sent out into the world, the robots created by the company Empathics are programmed to not be able to harm humans, animals, or other companions. And to bypass that, Josh essentially hacks into Iris. He basically mods his girlfriend like he wanted to have flying cars in GTA or add multiplayer to Skyrim. This is a huge plot point, and there is a quick throwaway line in the trailer that goes, "Did you jailbreak your sex bot?"
Did you jailbreak your sex bot?
But I think it was very easy to miss, which is why I didn't mention it in the spoiler-free section, but that gives away like the whole how she did it. I feel like the biggest spoiler points would be Iris being a robot, how and why she went rogue, and then the fact that Patrick was also a robot, which I thought was an entertaining reveal when it happens. From the trailer, you can kind of piece together all of this, which is really dumb and speaks to the unfortunate world of movie trailers here in 2025, which is why we like watching as little marketing material as possible before watching a movie. I want to know if you feel similarly or if we're the odd ones out. Do you like watching trailers before going and watching a movie? So the best kill in the movie is probably when Patrick just straight up annihilates the cop with his fists. One of the most chilling parts is when we see Josh's true colors unraveling, and especially at the dinner table scene where he is completely controlling Iris, and it doesn't feel too far off from a true domestic violence situation. Absolutely chilling how well that scene was written. In the end, we get Iris riding off into the sunset with a ton of cash and a new car, which is a little bit cheesy, but also a great layer of revenge. What did you think of Companion? Let me know down below, and would you rent one of these companions yourself, assuming that the same thing doesn't happen to yours? Which was a really gross part, realizing that Iris was a rental and not a full-on purchase. It's just kind of gross when you start to really think about it. But anyway, would you rent one of these companions yourself, assuming that the same thing doesn't happen to yours? Actually, on second thought, maybe I don't need to know that information. We have so much more horror to look forward to this year. The new Final Destination movie, 28 years later, Death of a Unicorn. Companion didn't blow me away, but we'll see if it ages well and lands on people's top 10 lists this year. Again, it was still well worth the watch. If you'd like to help the channel out, there are a few ways to do so. You can sign up for a membership right here on YouTube, you can purchase Companion using the link in the description, or you can follow me over on Instagram to help me pursue a cool collab that I'm trying to land. Like the video and subscribe if you enjoy talking about horror movies all year long, because that is exactly what I do here on the Nonstop Horror YouTube channel through fun, exciting, and informative content. I'll see you in the next one, and remember to embrace the fear all year long.